World Financial Group offers entrepreneurs from all backgrounds the opportunity to start their own business on a level playing field. Dr. Jana Woodhouse, receiving the WCM Wall Street Pioneer Award by the United Black Wall Street of America, Inc., is one of those entrepreneurs.
I see WFG and TFA as a place where African Americans with an entrepreneurial mindset can flourish. And the bonus, we help families and serve the communities across the country.
To learn more about us, go to worldfinancialgroup.com.
We are the sons and daughters of the soul. We are resilient and forever forward-thinking. We ask for nothing else than the opportunity to live and to create the lives that we were meant to live. We want nothing but an equal chance at options and possibilities. The same possibilities and options to live out our potential as our fellow man. We want to be heard, understood, and expressive in our reality. We are the future. We are the creative. We are here.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is now.
Greetings and welcome to Access Wealth Nation, where you get your checkup from the neck up and be able to get to your financial freedom through information. If you know better, you'll do better. And so that's what we do here. And I'm Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse, here to serve and assist you in building your financial freedom. Of course, one of the ways to do that is, we do the book, and I was glad to have the book in Senegal, and sharing it with folks to bring How Money Works, Stop Being a Sucker. And if you'd like the book, all you have to do is send us an email with your address to Anaj Enterprises Inc. and at gmail.com. And we'll be glad to send you a book free 99 with no obligation. People think that we're trying to sell them something. Don't need to sell, trying to educate. That's the whole thing is to bring financial literacy to the United States, but now we're hitting the world because we have opened the door in Senegal and we're heading to Ghana. So we're on the west coast here, west of Africa, to bring this information. Of course, also for those of you who want to have a plan, but don't have one for your financial goals, your 1 to 3 year, your 3 to 5, and then 5+, and would like to have one, but a little frightened because you think someone's going to try to sell you something. Well, that's not what we do here at Access Wealth Nation. You are very welcome to receive a financial analysis, and all you got to do is call 86. I'm trying to give you the wrong number. Give them my fax number. It's the number for the office is 646-375-2121. And so just let us know that you have listened on Access Wealth Nation and you really would like to have a plan because you don't want a plan to fail. And so we will definitely provide that for you, but also not only that, but to give you the opportunity to implement and get some assistance if you need that. Hey there. Thank you so much, LaQuantum. and working towards. Now we had a wonderful experience Wednesday. There is an organization, the National Association of Hispanic Real Estate Associates, and it was just an awesome event. We had over 100 people were present, and I was so happy because some people took the How Money Works Stop Being a Sucker book in Spanish. Yes, we do have it in Spanish and available. So if you want the book in Spanish, we can. But I just thought with my brothers and sisters and the way that they are moving across the country and purchasing properties, creating all sorts of avenues to build revenue. And believe it or not, it was one of the shocking events that I got information that there are more Latinos who are purchasing and moving towards Alaska. I said, okay, now I got to go get a license in Alaska because I want to be able to serve and educate. Wonderful opportunities, without a doubt. And so that being said, I had an associate with me, a few associates, but this is National Women's Awareness, Women's History Month, and we're closing it out today. And I thought it'd be great to bring on an associate who hasn't been with me long, but she's been in the financial service industry for quite some time. And, the thing that is phenomenal in this world is there are so many trailblazers, and especially women of color that are trailblazers across the timeline. And we just don't know them. We don't know, how they have impacted history. So that being said, I would like to bring on my guest. And she has, like I said, not long been working with me as an associate, but the knowledge that she has and the power behind being able to research is just awesome. Someone I'm just enthralled being in partnership with. So I'd like to take the time to introduce to some Miss Brenee Robinson. Hey there, girl.
Hey, Dr. Jana, how are you?
I am fine and blessed and truly highly favored. And we've had some good experiences this week. So what I want people to know, I want them to know about you. So, I know you're a CPA, wonderful position, but you also deal in real estate and a few other things. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Jana. Thank you so much for having me. I'm definitely honored and excited to be here. So I definitely feel like I've been on a journey. I did start out as a CPA. I spent about 8 or 9 years as a CPA and auditor with KPMG and several other financial services firms. And then from there, I made the jump from corporate America. I always felt like I was a free spirit and I was very entrepreneurial. So I made a crazy jump to be a fitness coach. So I did that for about
wow.
Yes. You call me a little crazy, but it was the best thing I did in my life. So pretty much I've been an entrepreneur for, I'd say, since 2016 when I made that jump originally into fitness. And from there, I've got into real estate investing, specifically apartment complex investing in that sector. And now I'm bringing it all together. As I say, I'm a wealth coach, focusing on the financial coaching. So bringing together all of my experiences underneath being a wealth coach, and financial health is a very important aspect of that.
But that's a title that I don't hear a lot. So tell me what a wealth coach does.
Well, I say wealth coach because wealth, when we think of wealth, a lot of people do think of money and finances.
Knowledge
but
and the power behind being. Oops, excuse me. My phone decided to click. Go ahead.
It's okay. We're used to being on Zoom. Anything is happening on the internet. So yes, wealth coach, when we think of wealth, we do think of money and finances, but from my experiences, a lot of wealth it's also our health is wealth, and it's also our relationships. So that's why I call myself a wealth coach, because I deal with all aspects of wealth, including financial, which is a majority of my background. So wealth coach is what I felt like really fits for me.
Well, that's also because it doesn't, if you are not healthy, mentally and physically, we're in a world, and especially in our communities, we have a lot of stress. and we don't do well with stress. We start to internalize it, so we get the trifecta, the hypertension, the cholesterol comes into play because we're not moving around a lot. We've got diabetes and, all these things that hit us. And so you do need to get your house in order financially, but you also got to get your body in order, because if you don't, then all the wealth you have doesn't matter, so definitely. So you deal in, as I'm hearing, multi-level projects as far as real estate is concerned?
It's multifamily, like apartment complexes. So we're
Ah,
talking
big
about,
time.
the big time, probably 50 units and above. So I work with a network that's what they invest in emerging markets across the country. And we look at a lot of apartment complexes. And it's just a lot of people want to get into real estate investing, but may not want to invest the time of being a landlord, of traveling to your property, because tenants can be a full-time job sometimes. So with multifamily, it's just specifically apartment complex investors. They put in their investment, and then they have the team manage the asset for them. So they don't really have to trade, the time for the income. And just the tax benefits are amazing with the depreciation, because if you have $1 million, $2 million property, you're getting the tax benefits of that, and you're not really getting the time aspect is so important. So it's another way of having passive streams of income.
That sounds good. That sounds good. That's something that I think a lot of people, especially some young people, don't know is available to them. At Access Wealth Nation, we're always trying to find new opportunities and new careers that will intrigue young folks. Because, when we see wealth, the only thing that we see is basketball players, video vixens, rappers, but there's so much more out there, and especially when you're dealing with real estate. So we had an experience talking to realtors, real estate brokers on Wednesday. What did you find out, or was there anything that was intriguing to you while we were at their symposium?
I think the thing that really stood out is it was a national Hispanic real estate professionals. It was the growing population in Alaska. And I think what I took from it, they're going over where Latinos are acquiring houses and where they're growing population. And I think what I took from it as, a financial professional or any type of professional is to look outside our jurisdiction for opportunities. So it might be Alaska. With our licenses, a lot of us are licensed in New York, but maybe being licensed in New Jersey, Connecticut, California. So that's one of the intriguing things that I took away, is just looking outside to different opportunities. And also very interesting was the tax strategies of the wealthy. So I think what stood out the most is that most people are protecting their assets. So part of being wealthy is protecting the assets, not just making the money, but creating the wealth and protecting the assets. And we did bring up Will Smith. I mean, he's in the news now, but something he does very well with his finances is that most of his assets are tied up in trust. So if let's say Chris Rock was to sue him, he wouldn't really have access to much of his wealth. And a lot of other just wealthy people are protecting their money and trust and annuities. And that's what's so important about, getting more financially educated and sitting down with financial professionals.
Oh, definitely, because one of the gentlemen that I was on the platform with, I believe his name was Denny. Anyway, he was talking, and that was one of the things. He services a lot of the artists, and I do too. And we definitely utilize the elements of a trust or annuities. And a lot of people don't know what it is, or they don't trust it. Don't trust the trust, right? So it's so important. That's why I said is that it's so important for us to have the professionals. Everybody thinks they can handle everything on their own. You can't. You have to have a team. And I thought it was awesome. I heard he shared some information that I did know. And one of the things is I've watched many of folks, if you've got an insurance product, most of the time you're very well protected, against someone, especially creditors coming for you and taking your money. The other part is, of course, you become wealthy, and a lot of people think about becoming, oh, I'm going to be rich, rich, rich. I'm going to be wealthy. And then IRS comes into play and you're going to be po. Okay, if you don't. So that's one of the things, to know how to protect your assets and to protect your wealth, and from generation to generation. I know that was one of our topics also. So it was a wonderful experience. And again, because we are in National Women's History Month, I wanted to share, I know that you're planning a major event through Zoom, which is wonderful. And so tell us about the Women in Money event.
Yes, so we are planning a Women in Wealth event Saturday, April 2nd on Zoom at 12 p.m. I believe the link is in the chat. And we want to gear this conversation towards women because we have different responsibilities sometimes. A lot of times we are the ones that might have to take care of a parent. We are the ones that maybe have to take care of children. But more importantly, I feel like women are taking control of their financial lives a lot more as we're moving out into the work world more, and a lot of us are becoming more entrepreneurial. Statistics have shown that for every dollar a man makes, we make 82 cents. So it's definitely there's a gap that needs to be closed. So it's important for women to start asking questions about money and being more involved in the financial decisions. Sometimes you might leave it to others, maybe a partner, to take care of that. But it's good that we are educated ourselves on wealth. So specifically, some of the topics we're going to cover tomorrow is, number one, the mindset of the wealthy. I think of some of us, I would say, including myself, have grown up with beliefs about money. You can't take it with you. Money is root of all evil. all types of beliefs. And I think first in building wealth is focusing on what's in our subconscious mind and what do we believe about money? It's a relationship. If we feel positive about a relationship, then positive things will happen. But if we feel negative, then negative things will happen. So understanding our mindset when it comes to money is very important. So we're going to speak about that. And we'll also speak about how women can reach their financial goals. It's important for us all to have specific goals. Sometimes I do sit down with clients and they say, oh, I want to buy a house. I want to buy this. And it's like, well, where do you want to buy a house? How much is it going to cost? And it's like, I don't know. So sometimes it can be a little bit challenging if you don't know where we're going to go as far as goals. So it's important to nail down some goals and start having conversations. And there's also people I speak to that say, I don't know anything about financial education. They save their money in a savings account and that's it. So this is just being able to expose them to different ways that they can build their wealth. And also we're going to give an opportunity to the women entrepreneurs, if they do have their own business, we want to promote them as well. So we want to give, as long as we have enough time, we're going to try to give everyone time to at least put their information in the chat and maybe have a handful of people speak a minute or so on their business to promote their business. And it is for women, but we do invite the men to come because, sisters, nieces, wives, friends, this information is very valuable for them. So all are welcome, but the conversation will be geared towards women.
That is a power-packed hour to be able to share. And I love the fact that you would promote women entrepreneurs, because that's something that's not done a lot. And the fact is that we are in an era right now in this world where entrepreneurship is queen. It's time for us to step forward. As you said, they have gaps within our lives. I don't know why, but I do know why. The woman really takes care of, everyone talks about, the man takes care of the household. No, he doesn't. She takes care of that, that song, I can cook up the bacon and pay it out at night, all that wonderful stuff. We do it all, but I think that in our world, and when we see it, we create about 800,000 widows are created every year. That means that we kill off a lot of men. And therefore, we must know how money works and also what's going on. What has he put aside for me? I remember a few years ago, we were doing women's seminars, and one of my friends, Gina Bardwell, invited me to go to the View. And on the line, we were just chit-chatting, and the woman heard that I was a financial educator. And she said, "Really? Do you handle money?" She says, "Because I can cook, walk around the house, clean, go shopping, come back. And when the financial advisor is sitting there, he hasn't asked me one question, nor has he missed the fact that I'm not there." As soon as my husband died, I was like, "Oh, she getting ready to kill her husband." As soon as he is gone, I'm getting a new financial advisor. And I said, "Well, okay." She said, "Give me your card." I was like, "I hope I'll be alive." But the thing is that many of women, the money is left in their hands and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know what he's done. And that doesn't make any sense. You're in a partnership, you're in a marriage, you're in a spousal agreement in some way, shape, or form. You're in a committed relationship. You should know what's going on. And whether he has or not have, it doesn't have, there's a serious situation when many of women turn around and nothing has been done and they thought everything was done. And as I spoke at the conference I said, there's times when one spouse funds the retirement plan and the other spouse pays the bills. That's when you got to make sure you got a good contract, because even though you're married, you need to know that you can get to the money also, and where is it, and what determines his opportunity, to assist you, his or her, because there's different lifestyles these days. Okay, also, if you have any questions or you need more information regarding the event, please make sure you just put it in the chat so we can share with you. We have a passion to help. And women in wealth is so important on different levels, because there's also a lot of abuse. I have to say it this way, is that, and when it's Domestic Violence Month, but Domestic Violence Month is not a month. It's a lifestyle that some people are living with, and they need to know what to do. How do they put money away from that situation so that they can be financially free? All those aspects come up, and we have to share. And as women, we have to share that energy to be able to solve the problems, because it can be solved. They can be in every way. So please, you click on and copy the bit.ly link on Saturday at 12 o'clock. We hit and start to assist and share with the knowledge that is out there. It's just so important. We've even started with our company to create a book, How Money Works for Women, and some people will say, are women really any different than anybody else? What would you answer that? How would you answer that, Brenee? Are women's financial situations any different than the men's?
I feel so. I think you made some great points. Sometimes we might be in the issue of domestic violence, or like we were saying earlier, a lot of times the responsibility to take care of maybe an aging parent or children, it is, who do people call when something goes wrong? They call mom a lot of times. No disrespect to the dads out there. No, there's a lot of fathers that are very involved, but honestly, mom does a lot, so we do have to be more involved in our financial planning and our financial education. And again, the work world, too, can be different for women. Sometimes I hear stories from women that, sometimes it still is out there. There still is some oppression in some corporate settings. So being an entrepreneur is a better fit for some women. So there are things.
It's also even a challenge. You think about what you just said is true, is that we have businesses, but sometimes people look at us a lot different for some reason. It's one thing being a woman, then also being an African-American woman. There's all these preconceived notions. When you see a woman, they go, "Oh, it's a woman." I've had folks come to my office and my partner will be in the other room and they'll say, "Well, we're looking for this person." And so he's like, "Yeah, she's over there." you know, and then they realize it's a woman. Because a lot of times I just say JB Woodhouse. They figured out later, you know, but it is a challenge. And then we, you know, some people, and I really do believe in the world of financial planning and investment structures, we're the best because we know how to do something that sometimes men don't, which is use these two instead of this. And we listen. And yes, we got to, you got to be able to listen, you know, and as mothers and partners, and like you said, you know, being in business, I mean, all the facets of us in business, it takes a lot. And you have to be able to sometimes make a sacrifice, you know, do other things to make your business flourish. And that leads me to the next level. There's a lot of business organizations and women's programs that can help you to deliver your business, to get assistance. You know, they have the minority women's business associations and certification. Did you know you had to get certified as a female business? A great opportunity for a lot of women to get contracts, government contracts. And we have to really be conscious of the fact that these things are out here, but you got to follow suit. First and foremost, I will say is you got to make sure you're in business with a business mind. You know, just don't go into business and say, I opened up shop. I'm business. No. You have to be in a position of where you're developing your business. You've registered your business properly. Like I said, and I always say, is if I could get $1 for every LLC out there, and probably the ones that are registered improperly, I would be a millionaire or a billionaire. So we do have to talk on that level too, is to make sure that we're structured properly and that we're building our business, not to just take losses so our husbands or our partners in life, as we file taxes, we're the one that creates the loss, you know. Instead, we be the ones that create the profit, because you shouldn't be in business trying to get a loss, you know. So what is it that drew you into becoming a full financial educator? What was it? Because you were out there, you do real estate, you're speaking, and you also CPA accounting. I love the fact you do great research, because I don't do that. So I now have a partner that I can count on. But what drew you to the financial aspect, and especially for women? What is it that you're feeling or you're passionate about?
Yeah, definitely. So I think there's an underlying reason and an immediate reason. So ever since a young age, really, I've been very good with money. I was 4 or 5 years old, always saving my coins. I used to get paid to do laundry with my aunt. I used to always save my money. So I always had a knack for money. I was very business minded from a very young age. And that's what kind of, I guess, propelled my career as a CPA. And then really how I really got into the financial coaching. Honestly, I was a client. I started out as a client. I had no interest in financial coaching. I was just, I really wanted to benefit from being a client. And as I started to learn more, like I realized I didn't really know much about money. Even though as a CPA, I was good at saving, I was good at building credit, but I really was probably saving my money maybe in savings accounts and getting 5% and thinking I was winning. This is way back in the day when it used to be about 5 or 6%. Way back in the day. And thinking I was winning. So I really didn't know much until I started to, see how I could build wealth in a life insurance plan. And when people hear life insurance, they just automatically thinking about death. But this is how a lot of the major corporations, Walt Disney, Ford, JCPenney, they built their wealth with these strategies. So I was like, you know what? More people need to know about this. As I said before, I kind of grew up with some beliefs in my family of, you can't take money with you and all these things. And I think a lot of people in the Black and brown community are growing up with those same beliefs, or a lot of times if you're coming from an immigrant family, you come over here and we make a lot of money, want to show it off with fancy cars and fancy this. So really, I felt like my community needed this. And one thing I really always loved doing is teaching. So bridging together all my coaching and my teaching to teach financial education. So that's how I landed here.
Well, that's an awesome thing. We need more. Definitely let everyone know. We even mentor folks to become financial educators, because you're right. All across the country, I look at the national statistic, and it is said that nationally, the United States ranks 14 out of the worldwide in financial literacy. Now, we're supposed to be the capital of finance in the world in the United States, and we rank 14. So, and then when I went to Africa, to Senegal, I was shocked they didn't even have them on the list. So that means that there's a lot of work for us to do. I remember my marketing professor said it so well. He says, go find a problem, then find the solution, then get somebody to pay you for it. That's business. And so I say, yes, I'm happy to hear that you're on board with us. I'd love to see more young folks out here, uh, getting into this kind of industry, because it's so important. Like you said, the CPA was great, but every time I've dealt with finance and in this world, and I've been in finance for now 44 years, they never tell us about all the little secrets. So I'm on a mission to get the secrets to our community, because we make money and we definitely know how to spend money. We just don't know how to make that money work for us. So what else, Brenee, would you like to share with the folks to entice them to come a little bit more to learn about what's going on Saturday? I'm really excited about it and participating with you in the process. I wish we had even more time, but I know people's, let's say this way, they can hold but so long and their attention, and then at a pot, you got to let them go and come back.
Yes, yes. I wish it is, we're coming out of COVID, so hopefully we could do something in person, but we were going to limit it to an hour, because after an hour on Zoom, people get a little fidgety, and it's Saturday and the weather is getting warmer, but it's going to be a jam-packed hour. I would say we're going to make it more conversational. So this is the opportunity to bring questions. We will have, we will do a presentation, but we want to know what the audience wants to hear, what they want to learn, right? Mm-hmm. So if anyone has questions, things they want to know about financial goals, definitely it's a time to bring it. And it's a comfort. Sometimes women might be intimidated if they are with around, their partner that may be a male, to ask certain questions, because they're just used to, oh, that's the person that takes care of the financial education or the finances in the relationship. So it's a time where we can just be comfortable with women, and there's no judgment. So be able to get all your questions answered, and of course, the business owners, the opportunity to promote themselves and just build a network. I think that's important too, is networking with other women business owners. As you stated before, sometimes we might have to overcome obstacles as women business owners as well. So it's important for us to support each other in those endeavors.
Oh, I definitely believe in that. We do. And I think by doing so, we're able to grow our community and also keep the money in the community. I think back to Black Wall Street. And as many of y'all know, I was honored by Black Wall Street for the centennial as the Wall Street pioneer. But what intrigued me so much, and I'm still trying to figure out how we can duplicate it, $1 would circulate in the community for 3 to 5 years. That means that we traded with ourselves, that we were able to grow the economy amongst our community. I'm just in awe, because right now, $1 may last 4 hours in our community if we're lucky. So I'm really looking and then thinking about the opportunities of how we can build more businesses, because jobs, that's not working. Now, again, there's always going to be what I call the worker bee, that they need to come and work, but as they're doing that, hopefully they're mentoring, so that they have a mentorship where they learn how to run the business so that they can go forward. It's enough money out there. Trust me, there's enough money out there. But the thing is that we have what I call lied to our children, bold-faced lie. We have told them that you're going to go to school and you spend all this money on this education, and you'll know I've got my doctorate, so it's not a case of where, I'm against education, but your education needs to be focused on where you're taking it to the next level. We go and spend $200,000 in a degree, and then we come out with all these loans and we can't even get a job for $200,000. So why not be able to think big? I think about the fact of dreaming, and that we need to learn how to dream and to build our businesses. Okay, I have to put on my glasses because I can't. It says, will you ever cover real estate investing? Will you cover real estate investing on April 2nd? So will you bring that up, Brenee?
We don't plan on it for this event because specifically apartment complex investing is very detailed. But that's a good idea for maybe a future event. We can do some light concepts and expose, especially women and people of color to the business. It is, pretty predominantly a white male business. And honestly, speaking of representation, someone that one of the ladies there's one Black woman that's very big into the business, and her, I went to pretty much school with her daughters, and she was at an event getting an award, and I sent her a text saying, hey, thank you for being inspiration to me. So representation is so important. So I definitely think that's a great idea for, future events to focus on real estate investing, especially, again, the multifamily apartment complex, because again, we're not trading the time for money. And I think single family condos, they're a great start, but that's really where the heavy hitters are, is in the multifamily apartment complex. And the average person can invest in it. And we think, oh, it's only for the hedge funds, but the average person is able to invest. It's just being able to get access and knowing people that, that are in the business to kind of drag us in. So that's a great question. It's something that we'll definitely consider for an event in the near future, very near future.
Well, is that kind of investing and possibly that guidance? It's like I listen, and yes, I know, I'm sure it's a competitive industry. I met a woman at the event on Wednesday, and she created, as she said, a conglomerate, and where people group their money together to buy multi-dwellings. And I thought that was interesting. And then she says, well, I need you to come and talk about the aspects of what else we do, because real estate is fantastic, but it's not liquid money. And so you got to always have some liquidity to do so. But I think that, are there women who pull together like a conglomerate? Because it sounds like you pool, because it seems like it's a lot of money, I would think, to be able to purchase a building. I'm thinking, well, if you get a couple of 2-story, 3-story, you good, but you talking 50. That's a lot. 50 units. So in saying so, is it something simple for people to learn, or is it difficult to get their foot in?
It is and it is. It depends on if you want to be a passive investor, or if you actually want to be what they call a syndicator or the operator of the investment. So yes, they are pooling money into the property. So we do properties between 50 units, sometimes it's a 200 unit property, and it's a pooling of investments. And a lot of times the minimum investment is $50,000 to $100,000, but sometimes people can come in with the LLC. Maybe if you have, let's say, 5 friends, each put in $20,000, and you're getting the $100,000 investment. So as a passive investor, if someone's really dedicated, and I'm gonna go back to the mindset, because there is this fear and relationship with risk. So I would have to definitely check, where someone is, I guess, when it comes to risk. It isn't, I say there's a risk with anything, but it definitely is something that if someone wants to be a passive investor and they're willing to and committed to learning it, and it's something they really want to do, it's not hard, right? But if someone is very, I say, not into, doing different things, because for a lot of people, this would be new, then it might be something that they probably need to go take a course or a class on. For people that want to do it as a business, I would highly recommend going into a mentorship program. I was in a mentorship program for, I'll say, 6 months. It is an investment, but going back to what you're saying also about, he spent $200,000 on our formal education. And don't get me wrong, I spent, our masters, and you have your doctorates. It's a good investment. But one thing I would definitely share with young people, especially the millennials, if we can come out of college with a skill, like I wish I did my real estate education in college. I wish I did, my financial coaching education in college, coming out with a life insurance license or real estate license, or just on how to invest in an apartment complex. The money that I invested in doing that, I wish I just did that earlier. So that, it's definitely something that you can learn. And if I could recommend to definitely young people, while they're in college, take a course or, get a license. So when you come out, you have a skill. I got my master's degree in accounting, and I came out, and honestly, I didn't feel like I knew anything.
I know this feeling.
It's like, it's really having skills. And the great thing is, what I love about, financial coaching and real estate is we get to choose who we want to work with. We work with people that we like and that you connect with. My first thing is, I don't care who someone is, how much money they have, is I can't connect with them if they don't share the same values. I don't want to work with them. Sometimes in the workplace, in corporate, you really don't pick and choose who you work with. So there's a lot of things that I love about the entrepreneurial business, financial coaching, and real estate investing.
Do you see it as, what kind of licenses does someone need to do to start to either be a financial coach or dealing in multi-dwelling investments? Do they have to take licenses to be able to invest in property?
No, that's the great thing about it. So if you're looking to sell real estate, then you do need a real estate license. But to invest in multifamily properties, so when I refer to multifamily, I am referring to apartment complexes. You don't need a license. You need access.
Need some money.
You need access, and that was second. You need access, and you need money. So, and that's a great thing about it. Again, if someone wanted to do this as a business, I would highly recommend going through some type of coaching program or course to learn the business. So it's something definitely having to be committed to. And I would say a lot of my mentors that came in the business, they spent time with me because I did invest the money in my real estate education to learn the apartment complex, because it is a little bit different than your single family or your smaller multifamily. It's a different beast, but it's a beast that pays off very well.
So you don't have to have a license. You just have to have. Is it better to have when you're dealing with the aspect of multi-dwellings? Is it best that you have the money or the credit?
See, you don't need to have credit if you're going to go with where you're pooling the money together. You don't need credit. It's just about the access and the money. And you need to know someone on the deal. Someone kind of has to know you, because the deals fill up so quickly. There's a lot of repeat investors. So, and a lot of times, the operators of these deals, sometimes they might be hesitant to deal with someone they don't know, because, like I said, going back to that mindset, maybe that person takes up all their time with the fear or the risk. And again, they're always very friendly people. They're willing and open to answering questions, but at the same time, I say certain clients in life, if they take up too much of my energy, I prefer not to deal with them. So the same goes with the multi-dwelling investments.
So as also the financial wealth coach, do you need to have a license to do wealth coaching, or is it something whereas you're bringing forth just the education?
Yes, you do need to have a license to write the business. I mean, you can just teach it, but you make money by actually writing the business. So you definitely need to have a lot. Well, most people start out with a life insurance license, which I have, and there's different types. So you go into securities license, the health license. So there's different licenses to get, but people normally start out with life and health and branch out from there.
Well, there's definitely a need, and especially in our community, for the life and health. And like you said, the very wealthy, which is really amazing, utilize life insurance, some element of life insurance to build their wealth and to sustain their wealth. So That makes sense, you know. And then, so when you're in, like you're doing now, you're doing the Zoom presentation. So where do you find your people? How do you market yourself? Because people need to know you're here.
Yes, yes. So I went through my network between Facebook, LinkedIn, a lot of the organizations I am in, and I message people directly from those I guess those platforms. So a lot
Mhm.
of people I have already are people I went to school with, people that I'm in organizations with. But also I do post things on Facebook, on Instagram. So if someone wants to look me up, look at my name, Brenee Robinson, Facebook and LinkedIn. On Instagram, I am at Breezy Realty Speaks, so people can follow me there.
Now,
And I
what
do
was that? What's that tag?
Instagram. Oh, Breezy Royalty Speaks.
Breezy Real
Royalty
Royalty. Oh, Breezy Royalty speaks.
Speaks.
Okay.
Yes, yes,
And do you do, if some organizations would like you to speak, do you open yourself to doing that? To
yes, yes. I love public speaking, and that's so the speaking feeds into the financial coaching and everything else that I do. So if any organization wants me to speak, I do workshops, seminars. So that's something that I've been doing, and I really enjoy it and very passionate about doing that.
That's great. That's awesome. And then with that, do you do also, since it's coaching, is the coaching always done in groups, or is there a time where the coaching is done one on one?
So the financial coaching is done one on one. It's a one on one, and then eventually I will have a mastermind group. So that'll be more of a group setting. But we like to. I feel there's nothing like having a tailored, coaching program for yourself. It's kind of taking it back to my fitness days. The difference between having a personal trainer versus going to a group class. When you do have a personal coach, that person can work on your goals specifically. Whereas sometimes when you're in a group, anytime you're taking any type of group lesson or sometimes there is a focus on maybe the person that's not doing as well sometimes. So more, I like to have a mastermind where everyone's bringing their best ideas and their energy into the mastermind group.
I like that idea of the mastermind. I think also a lot of people are very they're private, but they know they need some help. It's almost, I love to liken the financial industry to the medical industry. I know some of them will probably be very upset that I'm doing that. You know, they spend more years in school than we do. But the thing is that if you're sick financially, you're probably sick also medically. But the thing is that you need that time. And a lot of times people think that whatever they are and whatever's happening to them financially, it'll go away. You know, it's like for myself, here we are, tax season. By the way, tax season is ending April 18th. I suggest very highly that you guys out there make sure you get yourself situated. Right now, I'm closed to the point of new returns, but I will do extensions. But don't want to really do that because we got so much to do. Brenee and I got to get out here and get to the folks and help them financially. But don't let things sleep and think that they're going to go away. They don't. It's just like when you get that diagnosis and they find a lump and you're like, oh, you think you're going to stop and it's going to heal itself, or if it'll just go away, and it doesn't. And then it gets worse. So, you need to attack it, address whatever it is that's happening in your life. That's why I wanted to know with the coaching, because it's a situation of sometimes when they're in groups, and maybe you can tell me whether this happens, is that if you're in a group, sometimes that pulls someone out to talk and to share what they're going through. And then that would help somebody else to share their experience, because this is some serious times. We still, I don't know where these people think that COVID has gone away. But people need to talk. I just heard our medical examiner for the city of New York saying that there are people who they can't breathe, can't walk. It's not over for them. And so if it's not over for them on a medical level, COVID hit us a lot financially. And that's the other thing I have a question. I know we didn't talk about that. We were going to do this thing for the real estate, but look, I'm going to take the opportunity. During the time of COVID being really well, and then they did the moratorium on rents. How did that affect you and your business? You couldn't go out to see people, or maybe you could.
No, definitely. I was in real estate business development at the time, and a lot of owners were really just holding off on any type of just conversation about selling their properties, and just any deals that were in the pipeline just took a long time because again, people are stuck in their house, so we couldn't do like walkthroughs. So it was very, very slow during those times of the height of COVID. But things are picking back up now.
And with the interest rates going up, do you see where it's more difficult to still do your business? Because I know when that interest rate decision by the Fed to go up, and it doesn't have to go up a lot, 0.1% can drive you crazy. So right. Does that put you in a position more restrictive, or how does that affect your business?
Because a lot of the properties that we deal with are multi-million-dollar properties, and a lot of the people that do invest in multifamily are, I would say, sometimes affluent or aspiring to be affluent. A lot of times it doesn't impact as much. So it's something that multifamily isn't as sensitive to, recessions or interest rates, and as maybe again a single family would be. Just not as sensitive to it because we are dealing with the wealthy demographic.
Understood.
And aspiring wealthy too. So.
Yeah, because you still, as I said yesterday at the event, I said to be wealthy, you must think wealthy and start acting wealthy and put your stuff in order so that you can be, you may not be a billionaire now, but you don't want to wait till you become one to figure out what to do. And there's but so much, you need the assistance, and you don't want to trust everybody. I'm sorry to say it, but there are a lot of people who say they know what to do. And then when you turn around, they don't know what they're doing, and you probably know more than they do. So definitely, this is a time. Do you think that this is a time that people should start to look at their finances? We're in some serious times with inflation, and everybody throws that word inflation at us, but it's truly buying power. And so what do we do? What do you as a coach do to help people get through this kind of thing? People are still going to buy things. There's no doubts about it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, the situation is like I was talking not too long ago. I said, yes, there's inflation. I remember when inflation was as high as 14, 15% back in the 80s. But that hasn't stopped anybody from buying stuff, so you pay a little bit more, and now we see in the industry that, economically, you want orange juice, well, you're going to pay a little more for it. You want gasoline, well, you might think twice to running to the store. You might walk to the store. Might help us a little physically. But if that's the case, then with this day and time, is this a time for folks to sit down with a coach?
No better time like now. And we do cover this in the How Money Works book, and we'll touch on this tomorrow, the time value of money.
You're doing Saturday. Don't be putting me on.
Sorry, Saturday. Why?
But I know tomorrow I will be going cuckoo crazy. So definitely Saturday we're going to do this Saturday. Y'all remember
Saturday. I like to say Friday's Eve. So in my head, it's like Friday's Eve, but it is still Thursday. So we're doing this on Saturday. We will speak about the time value of money and the compounding interest. Mm-hmm. And like you said, a bag of groceries today might cost, $50, and next month it might be $100 for that same bag of groceries. So inflation is definitely impacting us. So it's no time like now to really sit down and look at our financials and making sure that we are not just saving money, but investing money where it's, it's kind of winning the race on inflation is, I think, is the easy way to say it. If most of our money is sitting in a savings account, it's losing value. You're losing money with the money in the savings account, and it's good to have, now it's good to have an emergency fund, but
Yes.
some liquid asset, liquid cash is good to have. But for again, those goals that we're thinking of, the future goals, the buying the house, maybe paying for a kid to go to college. We really want to make sure that our money is working harder than we work for it. So
Yeah.
no time like the present.
So it's good to sit down with someone. And I would just say, when you're sitting down with your coach, don't hide anything. Tell what you're really feeling. Be honest with yourself, then you can be honest with your coach. Because many a times, the first words out of people's mouth is, I'm good. I'm good. And I had a few people some years ago tell me, I'm good. So I got to the point and says, well, what does I'm good mean? What does it mean? Does it mean that you're really good and you really don't need any help? Or does it mean something even worse, which is, I'm not really good, but I just don't want you to know that I'm not good? Or it's like, I need help, but I need you to put your hand out and grab me. Don't even just pull me, grab me and help me. And that happened a few with very lucrative business owners as realtors. I had folks whisper in my ear saying, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. Can you help me? And it's like, I think I can, if you're willing, I can help, for sure. So we're at the nth hour. What are your parting words and thoughts that you would like to share with the people in the audience?
Pretty much what we were just saying. There's no time like the present moment. We're waiting. We're waiting. It could be very costly to wait to become financially educated, and to again start a relationship with a financial coach is very important. Like we were saying earlier, it's important to have a team in our lives. We have probably great medical doctors, and pretty much for financial doctors, I would say. So it's good to have a great team to really make sure you're living your best life.
Gotcha. Thank you. I had a quick question that came into my mind because I know the producers are probably thinking I should ask it. So I'm going to ask it. What is your thoughts about buying property or investing in multi-dwellings in other countries like Africa? I
think it's like I was saying earlier, sometimes you gotta look outside of jurisdiction. So it's not just in the States. One of my mentors, I think he was in Greece or Cyprus. So again, just doing the research on the market and knowing the market very well. It's always good to have a local work with you, having people boots on the ground, and especially when you're in an international country, because just to have relationships with people there, it makes it easier. Because sometimes with being a foreigner, sometimes people might want to take advantage of us. So I think it's something to look into. But like I said, definitely do your research and definitely have connections on the ground.
Oh, okay. All righty. Because got a few thoughts about what we saw in Senegal. And I just think there's great opportunity. Plus, we do a lot of buying here. And what our $500,000 would buy us here, we can buy mansions and grow in other countries. And so definitely. Well, Brenee, it was wonderful. I'm looking forward to the presentation on Saturday, and for us to make some difference out here and touch some folks. Now, I'll say to all of you, those of you listening, register so we know and expect that when you're coming. And we're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be, bring your questions. That's the whole thing. What can it hurt? If you don't ask, if you're thinking about it, someone else is thinking about it also. So share it. And we're there to share our knowledge. And so, Brenee, I want to thank you so much for your time. I know I'm going to bring you back because the producers are talking about, yes, you got to talk some more about this real estate situation and how we can get in and how people can get in. And so definitely, I hope you'll be able to come back again. And thank you. And to my audience, I hope you learned something today, and you can learn a lot more. The key is to get your checkup from your neck up and work as hard as you can for your financial freedom. Again, we're closing out. You've listened to Access Wealth Nation. And again, we are with Dr. Jana B. Woodhouse, sharing the knowledge and the experts to help you get there. Have a good night.
She was told that she couldn't play with the boys. She was told that they were too big, too rough, too strong. She was told to give up her dreams and move on. She was told to just be pretty, be quiet, be a lady. She was told that women had to stay on their side of the court, stay in your lane. Playing and competing with men was insane. She was told that men and women would never be equal. Dreaming like that would only be linked to your mind, to your soul. She never listened. She knew that their thinking was old. She is magic. She is the definition of spirit. She is what champions are made of. She is magic.